Hello and welcome to NDTV 24/7. I'm Rohit Wellington. Let's begin with our top story. Maharashtra on Tuesday logged 8 more cases of Omicron, with 7 being reported from Mumbai and 1 from city's outskirts, Vasai Virar. None of them has any history of international travel. However, one had travelled to Bangalore and another to Delhi. That's what officials have told NDTV. All but one patient were vaccinated. Aged between 24 and 41 years, 3 patients are asymptomatic, while 5 have mild symptoms, they said, adding that 3 are women and 5 are men. 2 of them have been hospitalized, while 6 are in home isolation. Now, with these new cases, Maharashtra's total Omicron tally now stands at 28, which is the most in the country. India's Omicron cases now have risen to 57. Now, the Omicron issue is expected to be discussed in the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday. It is listed as a short-duration discussion as per the agenda. Meanwhile, amid the looming threat of this new variant, Niti Aayog member for Health, Dr. Vinod Paul, on Tuesday said that the country should have vaccine platforms that are adaptable quickly in view of the changing nature of the virus. He also warned against a situation that might emerge when vaccines may become less effective to fight the virus.
The point I'm making is that there will be these stumbling blocks in this journey to vaccinate the remaining population of the world. What worries is the fact that there is a potential scenario that our vaccines may become ineffective. In the wake of the last 3 weeks of living with Omicron, we have seen how such doubts have come up. Some of them may be genuine. We still don't have the final picture.
Now, after confirming the first case of Omicron variant of COVID, Kerala is running the genome sequencing tests on 30 more samples at the Rajiv Gandhi Centre for Biotechnology in Thiruvananthapuram. NDTV's Sneha Merikoshi reports from inside the Omicron testing centre.
We are currently at the Rajiv Gandhi Centre for Biotechnology in Thiruvananthapuram, and this is the laboratory section where all the samples are being tested. This is where you're getting COVID-19 positive samples as well as Omicron suspect samples, and here is where the preparation for the testing begins at around, which itself takes around 8 hours. Joining us right now is the scientist, the main scientist who is heading this entire division, Dr. Radhakrishnan. Kerala has confirmed 1 case of Omicron. However, there are around 4 primary contacts of that person, including a co-passenger, who have tested positive and are being right now tested for Omicron. Dr. Radhakrishnan, so what is the status currently post the Omicron confirmation in Kerala?
We have got only 1 positive cases as of now. And we have 4, as what you said, we have only 4 more cases which are being suspected to be positive because they were in very close contact with the person who was tested positive. We have another around 30 samples which have come from patients who have tested COVID positive at the airport, and we will analyze.
Various airports.
Sorry?
Various airports.
Various airports across Kerala.
From the time you receive the sample till it is confirmed whether it is an Omicron or not, how many hours does it take?
To know whether it is Omicron or not, we have to do a next generation sequencing. So what we currently estimate is around 72 hours, but most of the time we could report it in 48 hours. Last time when we did, we had only 8 samples, so we could stop the reaction in 24 hours.
Moving on to the other big story, the Supreme Court has cleared the way for widening of roads as part of the Char Dham project, agreeing with the centre's arguments that wider roads in the area were vital for national security. The court modified its September 2020 order and sought a delicate balance between environmental considerations and security needs.
The Supreme Court has approved road widening for double-lane highways on 3 routes of the ambitious Char Dham project that connects the 4 shrines of Gangotri, Yamunotri, Kedarnath and Badrinath in the Garhwal Himalayas. These include the sections from Rishikesh to Gangotri, Rishikesh to Mana village and Tanakpur to Pithoragarh, which environmental groups had petitioned against. Today, a 3-judge bench of the Supreme Court said, national security and border security concerns need to be met. We can't second-guess infrastructural needs of the armed forces. Defense Ministry, a specialized body, can decide its operational requirements. Highways of strategic importance cannot be treated the same way as those in other hilly terrains. But the court has also formed an oversight committee to make sure environmental concerns aren't ignored. The court said constant monitoring also needed for maintenance of environmental issues. Oversight committee to be headed by former judge of Supreme Court, Justice A.K. Sikri. Panel to include members from the National Environmental Research Institute, Forest Research Institute, Dehradun. Committee will report every 4 months on the progress of the project.
During the course of the hearings last month, the centre told the top court that these are feeder roads for the border roads leading to the India-China line of actual control, and military equipment like the BrahMos missile and rocket launchers need to be carried through these roads. The centre said that it does not want the troops to be caught in a 1962 kind of situation again, and the court appears to have accepted that argument. In New Delhi, with camera person Shashikant Jha, this is Sukirti Dwivedi for NDTV.
The killing of farmers at Uttar Pradesh's Lakhimpur Kheri was a quote-unquote planned conspiracy with the intent to commit murder and not a case of death by negligence. That's what the special investigation team probing the case has said in a case in which Union Minister Ajay Mishra's jailed son Ashish Mishra is the main accused. Alok Pandey has this report.
सर क्या बातचीत हुई सर?
Union Minister Ajay Mishra meeting his murder-accused son in prison. Minutes after this letter by the UP Police SIT saying Ashish was part of a pre-planned conspiracy to murder farmers in Lakhimpur went viral. In this letter to a judge in Lakhimpur, the probe wants to modify charges against the Union Minister's son and add attempt to murder, as they have found intent to murder. Ashish Mishra and 12 others are already facing murder and conspiracy charges, but his lawyers argue it was rash driving and death by negligence.
जब एफआईआर दर्ज की गई थी तब ये बात सामने आई थी कि रैश ड्राइविंग का मामला है ये, यही अभी तक आशीष मिश्रा का पक्ष कह भी रहा था, और जांच जो की है एसआईटी ने उसके बाद ये चीज़ क्लियर हुई है कि क्योंकि इस मामले में कई लोग थे जो लखनऊ के थे, कुछ बाहर के भी लोग थे, तो इन्होंने पूरी प्लानिंग करके बाहर से जो है गुंडों को बुलाया था, उसके बाद प्लानिंग करके किसानों को मारा गया है। ये चीज़ क्लियर हो गई थी एसआईटी की जांच में।
The new development signals huge trouble for Ajay Mishra, the Union Minister of State for Home, who has remained in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government despite calls for his sacking. The killings at Lakhimpur Kheri caused massive anger among farmers, one of the most important voting blocks in the UP elections ahead. After the latest revelation, Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra tweeted asking why Ajay Mishra has not been sacked and his role in the incident probed.
एक मंत्री ने किसानों को मारने का काम किया है। प्रधानमंत्री जानते हैं, उनके साथ उनकी टीम में है। हमने कहा उस समय भी डिस्कशन नहीं होने दी।
The Uttar Pradesh government has faced multiple questions over the SIT probe into the Lakhimpur incident. In fact, the court even reconstituted the initial SIT set up by the government to probe the case. With Pratik Srivastava and Vineet Verma, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
And staying with Uttar Pradesh, Prime Minister Modi held a meeting with chief ministers of BJP-ruled states till midnight on Monday and went on a late-night inspection in his constituency Varanasi in UP after an action-packed day.
A surprise 1 a.m. inspection by Prime Minister Modi in Varanasi, but with a twist. Hours earlier, the Prime Minister played the lead role in the inauguration of the Kashi Vishwanath corridor in the temple town, the cameras firmly on him. But at night, Chief Minister Adityanath was in each frame too, accompanying and getting photographed with the Prime Minister at multiple locations. The photographs appeared to reaffirm the message that Mr. Adityanath has the backing of the Prime Minister, as the party plays up its double-engine Sarkar plank in the run-up to the polls.
गदौलिया में जो सुंदरीकरण का काम हुआ है वो वाकई देखने योग्य बना है। बनारस रेलवे स्टेशन भी देखा, इस स्टेशन का भी अब कायाकल्प हो चुका है। पुरातन को समेटे हुए नवीनता को धारण करना बनारस देश को नई दिशा दे रहा है।
The latest photo ops drew a sharp response from the opposition.
गंगा में कोई भी स्नान कर दे वो टीवी पे नहीं आ सकता, मगर अकेले प्रधानमंत्री गंगा में स्नान करेंगे पूरा हिंदुस्तान देखेगा, पूरा हिंदुस्तान देखेगा, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री के पीछे पूंजीपतियों की 2-3 शक्ति है और उन्होंने इन कैमराओं को कैप्चर कर रखा है।
आपको संबंधों की चिंता करनी है। डबल इंजन सरकार जो पैदल पहले हो गए, सरकार से पहले पैदल, और किनारे होकर के तस्वीर देख रहे हैं। सोचो, तस्वीर किसी की खिंच रही है? जो इस चुनाव के दूल्हा होने हैं वो कहीं किनारे पे खड़े हैं।
चुनाव आते हैं तो गंगा में डूब जाता है, और कोविड में जब लोगों ने मरता है वही माँ गंगा में भसा देता है।
One of the places that the Prime Minister visited in his 1 AM inspection was the Banaras railway station. Now this is the Banaras railway station where I am right now. To this side is the main building. It used to be called the Madwadi railway station, but then it was remodeled at the cost of around 11 crore rupees. कल प्रधानमंत्री यहाँ आए थे, आप लोग से वार्ता भी हुई या कैसे?
नहीं, बस दूर से नमस्कार किए, वो भी आशीर्वाद दिए, आशीर्वाद देके चले गए आगे।
राजनीतिक लाभ उनको जो मिल रहा है, उनके विपक्षी तो कह रहे हैं कि ऐसे सरकारी तंत्र से राजनीतिक लाभ नहीं लेना चाहिए।
नहीं ठीक है सर, अब काम कर रहे हैं तो लाभ तो मिलेगा है ना सर। जब विकास कर रहे हैं बनारस के लिए तो उनको लाभ भी तो मिलेगा।
Chief Ministers of the BJP-ruled states invited for the Kashi Vishwanath corridor inauguration, but mostly off-camera, were back in frame last night and today morning, with the Prime Minister chairing meetings with them, before attending this function at a temple complex on the outskirts of Varanasi, once again pitching Vikas.
वो दिन भी याद करिए जब आप यहाँ आते थे तो क्या स्थिति थी। जो स्थान इतना पवित्र हो उसकी बदहाली लोगों को निराश करती थी। आज जब देश विदेश से लोग आते हैं तो एयरपोर्ट से निकलते ही उन्हें सब बदला लगता है।
After these 2 days in Varanasi, the Prime Minister is expected to make repeated visits to poll-bound Uttar Pradesh, not only in December but also once elections are announced, and he and other BJP leaders in Uttar Pradesh get into full campaign mode. With Ajay Singh, Kamal Khan and Vineet Verma, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
All right, shifting focus now to an opposition meeting that was held at Congress President Sonia Gandhi's residence on Tuesday evening to devise a way forward on scrapping the suspension of 12 MPs of Rajya Sabha, which has led to an impasse in Parliament. Besides the Congress, leaders of 5 opposition parties were at that meeting, sources said, saying that NCP Sharad Pawar, Sena leader Sanjay Raut, DMK's TR Balu and CPM's Sitaram Yechuri, along with National Conference's Farooq Abdullah, attended that meeting, where Rahul Gandhi was also present. Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress, which is at loggerheads with the Congress, was not invited, sources have said. Welcome back. 3 Jammu and Kashmir armed police personnel have died and 11 have been injured after 2 terrorists attacked a police bus near a police camp at Zewan on the outskirts of Srinagar. Nazir Masoodi has this report.
A village mourns as the body of fallen policeman Constable Ramiz Ahmed reaches Yachma village in Gandarbal district. Hundreds were at the funeral to give him a hero's farewell. Ahmed is among 3 policemen killed in a major terrorist attack on a police bus on Monday evening. 11 other policemen were injured. While ASI Ghulam Hassan, Constable Shafiq Ali died yesterday, Ramiz died due to injuries this morning.
क्या आप चले जाओ, इस वक्त क्या करोगे? कल सवेरे 6 बजे गेट खुलेगी, उसके बाद आ जाना। जब हम सुबह सवेरे गए, सवेरे जाने से पहले उन्होंने फ़ोन किया कि यहाँ किसी कागज़ पर दस्तखत करना है, इसका
The police say it was a planned attack by 3 terrorists of the Jaish-e-Mohammed group.
हमारे जवानों ने काफी फायरिंग किया था, जिसमें एक आतंकवादी जख्मी हुआ है। उसका ब्लड स्पॉट काफी दूर तक देखा गया है। ये खरू से पांपोड़ और तराल तरफ भागने में कामयाब हो गया। उसको हम लोग ट्रैक कर रहे हैं। बहुत जल्दी इस ग्रुप को हम लोग न्यूट्रलाइज कर लेंगे। और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि हमारे जवानों इतना अच्छा, उनका मकसद था कि अटैक करके वेपन स्नैचिंग करने का, और हमारे जवान ने रिटेलिएशन बहुत अच्छा से किया। एक वेपन स्नैचिंग नहीं हो पाया, और इस ग्रुप को हम लोग बहुत जल्दी न्यूट्रलाइज करेंगे।
The Prime Minister has called for a report on the attack, which took place in a high-security area in Srinagar. This was the second attack on the police in the last 3 days. On Saturday, 2 policemen were killed during an attack in Bandipur district. Former Chief Minister Umar Abdullah says the situation is alarming.
लोगों को एक सेंस ऑफ सिक्योरिटी देने में मौजूदा इंतजामिया पूरी तरह से फेल हो चुकी है। आप जहां पे भी देखें तो दिन दहाड़े हमले हो रहे हैं। जिन इलाकों को हमने मिलिटेंसी से खाली किया था, आज दोबारा आपको वहां मिलिटेंसी देखने को मिल रही है।
The Fidayeen type attack on a police bus in a high security zone is the first major and planned attack by militants since Pulwama attack in February 2019, an ominous sign of escalation in violence in Kashmir. In Srinagar, Nazir Masoodi for NDTV.